When the days are nice and the seas are calm, there's a strong temptation among many of us to put everything else aside and head out into the southeast Alaska wilderness. And particularly on the nice days, when some of us who think we spend too much time working indoors work at trying to figure out how to spend more time out of doors. Hello, I'm Scott Foster, and welcome again to Rain Country. Unfortunately, some people are able to get out into the country only on weekends or on vacations. But there are others who have made different choices, and as a result, they're able to spend at least all of the summer on southeast waters.
Oh, here comes a boat. They come around the corner, sort of head in this direction and slow way down. If he pulls up one pole, it's a dead giveaway. He's got to pull up a pole and get up next to the scow here.
Those fishing the waters around Jacoby Island have several choices on where to sell their fish. They can travel to nearby Pelican, or they can sell to one of several fish buying scows, like the Shoreline, located conveniently near the fishing grounds.
Yeah, for people that day sell, you know, it's real important. But like for me, I'm going to Pelican anyway. I'm going to have to clean the boat and get ice. But just the same, it's one less step in town, you know, to unload your fish. I just soon do it here. Going to town, sometimes there's quite a line, you know, to unload, so they'll just pitch off here. You lose about a nickel or maybe 7 cents a pound.
Okay, 35 cohos.
Jenny Porter runs this scow. She had worked on a fishing trawler for 8 years and spent a summer working on the slime table in Pelican. There, she heard about an opportunity working on an old fish buying scow called the Incredible Hulk. She got the job and found that running a scow has its advantages.
Well, for one thing, you don't have to stand in one place all day and slime fish. You can walk around, move around, you know, and I'm the boss out here pretty much. I mean, I do, you know, answer to Eric Norman in town, but basically I get to say what happens out here, and you know, run the place. Okay, let's see here. Log jam, Category 1, Bravo, and Category 2, Bravo.
As the scow's operator, Porter takes care of the paperwork, orders supplies for the small grocery store, and supervises the crew. This year there were 2 deckhands, each working only part of the fishing season.
When a boat comes, what I usually do first is take the hose and wash down the 2 trays and the scoops so that when the fish slide in, they'll have an easy shot. When the boat ties up, sometimes I help tie up, depending on who's down here first, and put the tray up against the boat, and then the fishermen throw the fish into the tray, and Jenny usually does the sorting and the weighing. And then what I do is take the fish and put them in these totes. I put a layer of ice in the bottom, and then I put the fish in so where the heads are out like this, and put like a row of them on each side, and then fill up their bellies with ice. I usually take about 3 buckets and fill up their bellies, and then I just keep layering that until we get to the top and put one big other coating of ice, and that's pretty much it.
For the most part, the work is pretty routine: sort fish, weigh fish, and ice fish. But the workload varies with the number of boats and the amount of fish they carry.
The other day, a guy came by early in the morning. He'd gone fishing and his boat wasn't running right, so he came in. He had 10 humpies and a couple of sockeyes, you know. That was a very small load. On the other hand, a guy might be out for 4 days. He has, you know, a trip. He's got 400 fish. That's kind of the spectrum from the least to the most, you know.
The boats or the days or whatever, it depends on how much work we have to do. Sometimes it's slow, we get 1 or 2 totes. Sometimes it's crazy and we'll have 14. The norm, if there is a norm, is around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. The boats will come in and we'll quit working about 9:30 or 10. And that would be a nice average day. But you never know. I think sometimes they come before we're out of bed, and then they go, usually they don't come in past 10, though one time we had somebody at 11:30 and we went to bed at 2, so it just depends.
While running the Incredible Hulk, Porter jokingly suggested to a friend that she build her own scow. Pelican Seafoods was interested in leasing another scow, so the humorous suggestion became reality. Porter formed a partnership with John Clausen and another friend.
They built the shoreline.
And it's kind of like old-time fish buying scows, too. They were built on scows, you know, real scows. This isn't actually a scow. Scow, I think, is a wooden hull, you know, that's sloped up. And it's actually made for towing, you know, hauling something on, maybe. And they turned those into buying stations, just built buildings on them, and most of them had living quarters up above. And it's kind of an old-fashioned design that seemed to work, and then we made it a little bigger. Got all the comforts of home, everything, really. We have 12-volt lights for when the generator's not on, and I could probably run them all night. I don't know. We have those big cat batteries, 8Ds or something. I don't know. It's the one that runs our lights and radio and just household stuff.
The scow has its own sauna, hot tub, and laundry. Water comes from a nearby stream. Porter has added a greenhouse that provides some extra summer color, and when things are slow, there's always something to see or do.
Oh, look at that. Oh, boy. Look at that. He's kind of shaking the water off of his wings. Nah, I never get bored. I rarely get bored. Anywhere I am, I don't get bored. I read, if nothing else, you know. I can always read. And I like to read. I don't have enough time to read. I have been doing a little bead work lately, messing around, making some earrings, but I don't know. I don't get bored very easy.
This year I went with the attitude that I'm going to make myself do certain things. I kind of like set up a routine of certain things that I would try to accomplish each day. And if I don't get those done, that's fine, but it's just kind of a mental check-off list, like the exercise bike, for instance. Make myself get exercised and make myself do a journal writing, or, you know, have certain little things that I have to do ritualistically each day. These are what I'm going to do so that I won't get that isolated or that bored feeling. When we're not busy and we kind of get the feeling that it's not going to be a busy day, we can take the skiff and just kind of mosey on around the corner and go in the different inlets and look around. Sometimes we even beach up and hike around, pick berries, beachcomb, hike up in the muskeg, which is a kind of a fun thing to do.
Hikes to the muskeg or shore excursions are always short because the scow crew must be on the lookout for the next boat. But that's all part of the job.
We all have to work for money. If I didn't have to, I probably wouldn't work for money. You know, I could think of a lot of things I'd rather do than this. You know, I only have to do it for 3 months of the year, this actual part of it. There is maintenance on the thing, which probably takes at least a month, but, you know, it's pretty good. The number one thing that's important to me is where I am. I want to be where I want to be. And I don't want to have to, that's more important to me than the job I do, really, you know. And I think that's true anyway. And, you know, some art-related things, or maybe even working in gardens or something would be neat, but I'd probably have to live where there's a lot more people. And I don't really want to, you know. I like being out there in the middle of nowhere.